breaking down quotes, I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Let me know what you think. Cheers. Morning, guys. John from Paved in Stone. Really wet, miserable morning. Deciding how wet do I want to get today. The eternal battle with a landscaper. Anyway, so whilst I was sat here having my coffee, watching the rain fall, I was just having a little look through the social media. And one topic that keeps coming up on the paving pages is about breaking down your quotes for customers. And there seems to be a real reluctance about giving that customer the information. And I just wanted to talk about that and give you my sort of 2 cents on it, really. So, you know, everybody presents their quotes in different ways. So let's just assume you've done a quote and you've told the customer, I don't know, 40 metre patio, 10 grand, right? That customer's now come back to you and said, oh, you know, thanks for your quote, whatever. Could you give me a breakdown of that 10 grand? I'd like to sort of, you know, get a better idea of where my money's going. Now, there seems to be, like, say, a lot of resistance. People get quite defensive. You see a lot of people, like, the price is 10 grand to do it, 0 to not do it. I'm just struggling to get my head around why we're so cloak and dagger about our costs. You know, certainly I think at that point, if a customer comes back and they've asked for a breakdown, and they might have several elements in their job, you know, there might be a patio, there might be a fence, there might be a lawn to turf, you know, I think it's quite reasonable at that point to say to that customer, okay, let's give you a bit more clarity on where your money's going to go. So look, it's going to be X amount is for the patio, X amount is for the lawn, and you can give them some quantities in there. So, you know, you should probably be putting that in your quote anyway. But if you don't, you can sort of say, you know, look, it's a 30 metre, 40 metre patio, it's 50 metre lawn, you know, 20 metres of fencing, whatever. It's just give them that breakdown so they can start to understand, like, where that's going. In my experience, there aren't very many customers that want, like, an itemised bill or an itemised quote. And actually, I think, if we're talking about breaking down the quotes, I think an itemised quote is probably unreasonable, just because there's so many moving parts in our job. So I got an example here. I keep a ledger, as I'm sure a lot of you do, as my jobs go on, and just sort of obviously recording everything we got. So I'll try and blank out the name. We can see that on there. So this is just one page of one job, and this isn't a huge job. This is the value of this job is 21,000. All right. So it's kind of like an average job, and that's only the first page, and it's how many entries there are on here, you know. And you're talking things like, right, I need to go and grab another bag of cement, I need to go and grab, you know, a tub of this, I need to go and get this, you know, all these little individual items. And it's impossible to forecast that when you're doing a job, because essentially when we go away and we're quoting, we're using a combination of our experience of guessing and sums. Okay, but there's always going to be, it's never going to be exact to your sum, and that's part of the art and craft of your pricing and your quoting. So I definitely don't think we should be itemizing. I think that opens up all kinds of trouble, but we should be happy to be more transparent and give our customers more clarity as to where their money is going. Like, give them a breakdown, because sometimes what it might be is some people might be making a decision. You know, as I said earlier, if there's different elements, they might say, okay, well, do you know what, actually, if the patio costs this and the lawn costs this, can we do that? And then we can do the fence later when we save up. You know, you're just giving them the options to make an informed decision. I don't see an issue with that. I guess really what it probably boils down to, in my mind anyway, if I give that customer information, and I'm not trying to sell, I'm trying to give that customer all the relevant information that they need, whether that be working specifications, you know, quoting them for the project they've asked for, you know, maybe doing a little sketch for them or whatever. I see my job as giving you that information. If I do that right, and I don't do the hard sell, okay, it's not about the hard sell, it's about here's your information to do the job right. If I do that, then actually that customer is more likely to trust me, because my competition isn't doing that. If I say to that customer and they ask for a breakdown and I'm transparent and I give them that breakdown, again, that customer now is trusting me. They're invested in me, in my expertise. You know, and chances are sometimes, you know, if you don't give that breakdown to the client, what have you got to lose? Because it's the same as putting your quote in. If the client comes back and asks for a breakdown of the quote, well, what difference is that with you not getting a reply at all? Which happens to a lot of us, right? We put a quote in and we don't ever hear back from people. So I just don't see the problem with it. Maybe you guys have got a different opinion. If you do, then let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. But breaking down quotes, I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. Let me know what you think. Cheers.